Hi guys, how are you all doing? Good evening. First of all, thanks to everyone that's committed to the successful completion of this program. I appreciate your responses. Your responses are kind of an encouragement for me to go on. So moving on throughout this program, I would always appreciate feedback. If you have anything you want to say, if I ask questions, please respond rather as quickly as possible. All right. So this video is going to explain what you need to install on your computer to make sure that the program is easy for you. For now, what we majorly need are two things: Python and the code editor. I'll explain more across in the course of the video. But before I go, let me quickly give you an insight into the materials I'll be uploading today, which is Introduction to Programming. I got this video from a Python course I did back in 2014. I mentioned that in my orientation video that just before we started programming in school, I had some free time on my hands and decided to look about programming online, and I found this particular course on EDX, which was amazing. Well, not really amazing. It was very complicated. I didn't understand many parts of it, but I understood the initial part. That's the part I was talking about, introduction to programming. It was very explanatory. The man really explained it well, and I felt like you guys would benefit from his explanations. So I downloaded some of the videos that explained the introduction to programming, and that's what we have here. So review the videos, and then afterwards there'll be a quiz that you need to finish before the end of the week. If you feel like you want to enroll for this course, then by all means. If you have the time, then please, by all means. The link will also be posted for you. So let's talk about the first software you need, which is called Python. You simply can just go to google.com, search for Python, go to the first page that comes up. And when you over your mouse around download, you can simply just click Python 3.9.6, and that will save you all the stress. If you're the kind of person that you want to get technical, then you can go to download, click on downloads. You will see more versions here. But whatever you do, I'm saying this now, do not install Python 2 point anything. Make sure it is Python 3 point, the most Python 3 point something. If you're not a technical person, just simply click on Python 3.9.6. All right, it will install this on your computer. And then when you click it, an installer page pops up that says, do you want to install now? It is very important that you check this box, add Python to path. I can't overemphasize this because this was one of the issues I had when I first started learning Python. I didn't do this when I was installing my Python. And so I ran into a lot of problems while I was trying to code. So make sure you do this. If you don't do it, it doesn't mean that we can't fix it. No, I can always fix it. But I'd rather not go through the trouble when you can simply just check this button. Okay? And then you click install now. It will take a minute. I always advise that you make sure you're connected to the internet whenever you're installing Python, because some of the times this particular installer might need to connect to the internet to download something. So it's advised, just for the best experience, make sure you're connected to the internet. It doesn't take a lot of your data, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. So once this is installed, let me give it a minute. Awesome. You can then close it. Okay. Now, when you go to your Windows and you search for Python, pardon me, I know you're seeing a lot of versions of Python. The reason is because I have different Python on my computer. I have 3.6, I have 3.8. And for the purpose of this video, I have just installed 3.9. So you can probably be more specific, 3.9. Awesome. So these are the 3.9 modules that were installed. Okay. When you install Python, three things are installed. Number one, something called IDLE, Integrated Development. I can't actually remember the full meaning. Then there's this, which is the real software that will run your Python code. I would not go into much of the details for now. Some of them are really explained in these guys' materials that I will post rather. So that is how you install Python. Really, if you want to start writing the code, so when you want to start writing code, you can either search for Python 3.9 or you can search for idle. Most people use idle. Okay, so when you click on idle is like a code editor. It automatically comes with Python. When I say code editor, you need to write your code somewhere. You need to type. So imagine this is a notepad. You need to type your code somewhere that says print this is Python. So this is an example of the code. This is an example of a code. You need to have it stored somewhere on your computer so you can give it to the computer to run. When the place where you type your code is usually what we call a code editor. When you install Python initially, it usually comes with a code editor, which is basically called idle. So to find the code editor, you can simply search for idle. this is not the code editor itself. You have to click on File and then New File. So you kind of create a script that you can type your code in. You say print, this is Python, straightforward, right? Then you save your script by clicking Control S, or you go to File and you click Save. All right. Now, I would recommend that you have a folder on your computer that you save this thing for the sake of organization. So for me, I can call this Python programming, and then inside it, I will just call it script. I can have another folder for script. The reason is because you want to be able to access this later. So I can call this file first file, I'm sorry, hello world or something, and then I save it. Okay. So what that means that if I go to my desktop and I go to Python programming and I go to script, I will have the file saved there. Now to run the file, all I need to do is click on run and then run module. But make sure your code is saved first. Okay. If you made a change to your code, for instance, I added this, and you don't save your code and you try to run it, it will first of all prompt you to save it. So make sure it is saved and then you run it. All right. Now, when you run your code, this is where it is displayed rather on what is called the shell. Now, on the shell, you can do simple calculations like 4 times 5. You can do quick programming stuff like 2 times 5. You can do quick things like print hello world. You can do stuff like print welcome to programming fundamentals. Quick stuff like this. I'm hoping that these videos that I will post will teach you some of the things that you might need to know. I'm hoping. So that's pretty much the shell. Okay, but make sure when you're writing your script, you first of all click on File, click on New File. So excuse me. Click on File, click on New File. It will produce a script like this that you need to. A script like this that you need to save. To save it, click on File, Save. It will pop up a browser. It will pop up something like this that you can save your code into. Okay. Um, that's pretty much how you create a new Python script and you run a new Python script. To run, like I said, you click on Run and you click Run Module. All right, that's straightforward. And then if I give you a task and I tell you to write a script, this is exactly what I need to do: create a new script. Then when you're submitting, you're going to be submitting that script that you saved. All right. Now that is Python's code editor. I don't think there's a lot more that I need to say there. I'm just going to close this, guys. But some people might, they prefer something called Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is it's a nice code editor that you can use too. Some people's system might not be able to take it. Actually, I think it's very light. It's not a very heavy software, so it's something that you should be able to take. I currently have it already, so I'm managing to install it, but I'll show you the installation process. So, if you're using Windows, you click on download for Windows. If you're using Apple, click on other platform. Although the website will automatically recognize the type of laptop you're using. So if I was visiting this website on a Mac laptop, it will show download for Mac. Okay, it's because I'm currently visiting on the Windows, that's why I'm showing this. So when you click download for videos, it will automatically start downloading. It will recognize everything about your software, your laptop rather, that it needs, and then start downloading. So I'm going to save you. This might take a while. But I've had it downloaded already. The installation process is rather simple. Hopefully before I'm done with explaining this video, it should have been completed. So I'll come back to it. So I'll just give you an idea of how Visual Studio Code looks like. This is how it looks like on my own end. And that's because I kind of customized it to be dark. I currently have a folder where I'm working, but I could just create something else. Let's see. Let's look at our Python script. So let me just work with this. Awesome. Yeah. So right now we have our Python script here, the hello world that we were working with before. Okay. So what I did basically was I opened the folder in Visual Studio Code. To do that, you click on File, Open Folder. Then you navigate to the folder that you want to open. In this case, I want to open the folder called Python Programming. Or if you want to specifically open script, you click on Script and you click Select Folder. And then you can close this, and you can now see your codes here. So if you have multiple codes, it will show them down here. All right. And then you can edit your code from here. Print, testing, and other things you might want to do. Now, the reason why, if you want to create a new script, you can simply, inside the same folder, you can click this icon that says new file, call it task one.py, which is to signify that as a Python file. And then you can keep on typing your code in there. That's one code. Now, to run Python code on Visual Studio Code is a bit tricky. Honestly, I don't even remember how it happened because many of the times I don't run Python code there. I have something called a command line that I use. I'll explain that in a bit. But I think to do that, you simply you click on this code extension and then you search for Python. Now it should open, expand this a bit. Yes, I think this is it. Yep, I think this is it. Once you click on this, you click, okay, right now this is enabled, so that's why the disabled button is showing. But if you were to open the end, it will show enabled, okay? You click on enabled and automatically you should have Python installed. Actually, this part might be a bit tricky. So what's going to happen is, first of all, have this installed on your computer. If you want to use Visual Studio Code, install Visual Studio Code, and then reach out to me. Let me see if I can, help you figure it out. If you can figure it out on yourself by yourself, that would be great too. But if you want me to figure it out, it's something that I would do. It's just that for me right now, if I have to figure this out, I'll need to first uninstall Python and then uninstall Visual Studio Code and then start it from the beginning. And that's something that might take a lot of time that I don't want to get into right now. So you can either decide to write your code using idle, or like by going here and creating new file inside this script. When you type your code, you save the script. And then if you want to run your code, you click on run and run code. Or you can have Visual Studio Code. It's a bit tricky using Visual Studio Code, especially if it's your first time. So it's totally fine. I think I might even post a material about Visual Studio Code that you can. Maybe I should do that. I'll look for a material on YouTube that will talk about Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code. Yeah. This is quite long. Yeah, I think this should be okay. So I'll look for something and I'll post it for you. So that's installing and idle and Python and Visual Studio Code. One other thing you would probably need is something called command line, and every laptop comes with that. So I would do this. This is what you call the command prompt. When you search for command prompt, your radio, this pops up. Sorry, mine is a bit tricky. So this is really straightforward. If you are somebody that knows how to work with this kind of terminal, then that's good for you. It's something you're going to eventually learn, but you don't have to learn about it now. So for many people, you might not necessarily have to learn about it now. But if you think you're advanced enough to learn about this, then we can talk later. But eventually we'll come upon this. Okay. Now the reason why I'm saying this is because sometime in the future you might want to use a different kind of shell, or sorry, a different kind of terminal. For me, currently, I use this. This is called Ubuntu 18. Blah blah blah. I would explain what it does, but that would take a lot of time. So for now, it's not something you need to worry about. But for the technical ones, if you feel like you want to get more explanation, then let me know. So that's idle. One of the things that we'll probably talk about in our classes moving on is something called leetcode.com. It's where you see a lot of problems on programming, really. So when you go to LeetCode, you can click on problems, right? And then what happens is that you see a lot of questions. Now, I would not advise you to go and start doing any of this right now. Okay, they're difficult ones, they're hard ones. But I would advise that you create an account. So currently, this is my account. There should be a sign up option. I can't find it. There should be a sign up option that says, okay, yeah, this is currently my account. If I were to sign out, you see how it looked like. So this is how the page will look like when you come for the first time. You click on sign in, and then you click on create an account, and then that should be here. And sign in. There should be create an account somewhere. Yeah, sign up, and then you click on fill in your information and follow the process. And that's it. So the reason why I say this is important is because some of our tasks will be from here. Some of our tasks would be from here. As you start to go higher in your level of programming, to be something that you start to learn, I might be giving you problems from here that would make you more confident in your ability to program. Because like I said, programming is really just about problem solving. And sites like this have a lot of problems that you can solve. Another one is called HackerRank. That's something that many programmers are familiar with. You go to HackerRank, you see a ton of problems too. Although HackerRank is not so easily accessible like LeetCode. Now, another reason why this is good is because some companies rather usually give problems on HackerRank. So if you were to start familiarizing yourself with it now, and by the time you're done, you get a job application, you can easily just do some HackerRank test. And I think that will pretty much cover everything you need to install. I hope that this is clear. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to post these materials today, and then by the end of the week, everybody should have gotten this thing through. We're going to be going basically, we're going all the way in. We're going to, I don't know the word to use now. We're going to immerse ourselves in this for the next couple of weeks. And then there's no space for slouching. If you're slouching, we'll leave you behind. That is something I need to emphasize. If you're slouching, we leave you behind because there's so much that we need to cover. And like for many of us, time is not on our side. So the moment you can spare some time to learn, try and get on it and make sure all of your tasks are done. Make sure you watch the videos. And I think that's pretty much everything I have to say for now. Oh, look at that. Our software has downloaded. The setup for Visual Studio Code is pretty straightforward. Just click I accept. If you're somebody that likes to read, you can read all of this. Most people don't, but if you like to, you can. Then click next. You can decide to create a desktop icon. You can have this. You can have this. You can even have this. Then click next, and that's it. Install. Now, when this is done, one of the easiest way that you can open a folder of Visual Studio Code is just go to the folder on your Windows Explorer, right click in that folder, and then click Open with Code. That's another way that you can, open Visual Studio Code. Sorry, open your folder in Visual Studio Code. So I feel like that was explanatory enough. If you have any more questions, just let me know. If there were some things that were unclear here, again, let me know. If you have any issues setting up, let me know. This week we'll not have a lot of issues. We'll not need a lot of softwares. We just need to make sure that you watch the videos and do the assignment or the task rather. But starting next week, we're going to be using softwares. So make sure installations are complete. If you have any issue, I'm repeating again, let me know. All right, so I think that's pretty much everything I have for now. Thank you for joining this, and cheers.